Steve Irwin, affectionately known as the Crocodile Hunter, wasn't just an Australian icon. He was a global phenomenon, beloved for his boundless enthusiasm for wildlife and his passion for conservation. Until his untimely death in 2006, Steve worked tirelessly to educate the world about the wonders of nature, using his infectious energy to inspire millions to care for the planet. His story is as wild and fascinating as the creatures he spent his life defending. Steve's connection to wildlife began early, thanks to his parents Bob and Lynn Irwin, who were deeply devoted to the natural world. Bob, a wildlife expert, passed on his vast knowledge of Australia's unique animals to his young son, while Lynn worked as a wildlife rehabilitator, caring for injured creatures. In the 1970s, the Irwins moved from just outside Melbourne to Queensland, where they established a small reptile park. This park would eventually grow into the world-famous Australia Zoo, but in those early days it was simply where Steve's lifelong love for animals was nurtured. From an early age, Steve displayed a fearlessness that would come to define him. At just 6 years old, he caught his first venomous snake, a common brown. His fascination with wildlife wasn't limited to reptiles, though. On the way to school, young Steve often begged his mother to stop so he could rescue animals he spotted along the road. This unrelenting curiosity and compassion for creatures of all kinds were the building blocks of a career that would later captivate audiences worldwide. For his 6th birthday, he was gifted a scrub python, a fitting introduction to a life surrounded by reptiles. By the age of 9, under his father's supervision, Steve was already handling crocodiles. His early experiences weren't all glamorous, though. As a child, Steve was actively involved in the day-to-day operations of the family's reptile park. He helped feed the animals, cleaned enclosures, and took part in maintaining the grounds. It was hard work, but it laid the foundation for the man who would one day wrestle crocodiles on international television. In 1998, Steve gave the park its now iconic name, Australia Zoo, a fitting tribute to the country he loved so much. The zoo, still managed by the Irwin family, remains a living legacy to Steve's vision of wildlife conservation. Long before he became a household name, Steve honed his skills as a volunteer for Queensland's East Coast Crocodile Management Program. There, he didn't just dabble in wildlife management. He excelled, capturing over 100 crocodiles. Each capture was more than a feat of bravery. It was a testament to his deep understanding of these magnificent, misunderstood creatures. That early work laid the groundwork for his future as one of the world's most famous wildlife conservationists. In 1991, Steve took over the family's reptile park, which would soon be renamed Australia Zoo. At the time, it was still a humble operation, but Steve's vision for the zoo transformed it into a global destination for wildlife education and conservation. Within a decade, the name Steve Irwin was known around the world, synonymous with his energetic calls of Crikey and his fearless encounters with nature's fiercest predators. That same year, fate intervened in a way that would forever shape Steve's personal and professional life. Terry Raines, a wildlife enthusiast from Oregon, visited Australia on a trip to learn more about wildlife rehabilitation. She decided to stop by Steve's zoo, and the moment she met him, her life changed. For Terry, it was love at first sight. She later described Steve as an environmental Tarzan, a larger-than-life superhero guy, marveling at his enormous heart and unwavering dedication to animals. Steve felt the same instant connection, and within 4 months, the pair were engaged. They married in 1992 and built not just a family but a partnership centered on their shared passion for wildlife. Theirs was a love story as wild and captivating as the creatures they worked to protect, and they remained devoted to each other, until Steve's untimely death in 2006. For all of Steve's daredevil antics, wrestling crocodiles, swimming with sharks, and handling venomous snakes, he once revealed that the most nerve-wracking moment of his life wasn't in the wild. It was his wedding day. Steve joked that he was sweating bullets during the ceremony, a rare admission from a man who faced down apex predators with ease. For most newlyweds, the idea of romance might include tropical beaches or candlelit dinners, but not for Steve and Terry. Their honeymoon was spent trapping crocodiles for conservation efforts, and it was all captured on film for the very first episode of The Crocodile Hunter. While most couples might balk at such a wild way to celebrate their union, for Steve and Terry, it was perfect, an unforgettable start to a marriage built on shared passion for wildlife. Beyond his work with animals, Steve was a man of diverse interests and relentless energy. He was a huge fan of Australian rules football, a sport as intense as Steve's larger-than-life persona. But his love for physical activity didn't stop there. To keep up with the physical demands of wrangling crocs and running Australia Zoo, Steve also trained in martial arts, specifically Gaido Jutsu, a hybrid system that combines various fighting techniques. After all, it takes more than courage to wrestle crocodiles all day. It requires serious strength and endurance. Steve's fascination with martial arts extended beyond training. He was an avid fan of mixed martial arts competitions, and even trained under Greg Jackson, one of the most renowned MMA coaches in the world. Jackson's gym has produced some of the most formidable fighters in the sport over the past 2 decades, so Steve was in good company. His love for MMA wasn't just about staying fit. It was another reflection of his unyielding drive to challenge himself and push his limits. But even the fearless crocodile hunter had a surprising Achilles heel: parrots. Despite his comfort around apex predators like crocodiles and venomous snakes, Steve reportedly had an intense fear of parrots. Yes, the man who could stare down a saltwater crocodile was terrified of a colorful bird that says, "Polly, want a cracker?" It's a quirky twist that makes his larger-than-life persona all the more endearing, proving that even the bravest among us have their unexpected phobias. The Australia Zoo, now an internationally renowned sanctuary, was originally founded by his parents. Steve and his wife Terry poured their hearts into expanding the zoo and transforming it into a hub for education and conservation. Even after Steve's tragic death, the zoo remains a symbol of his incredible legacy. Fans from around the world continue to visit, drawn by the infectious spirit of the man who taught them to care deeply about the natural world. Steve's roots were in Birwa, a small town in Queensland with a population of just 6,000. Despite its size, the town has become synonymous with Irwin's legacy, honoring him in a uniquely Australian way by naming a road after him. Steve Irwin Way serves as a daily reminder of the impact he had not only on his hometown but on the entire nation. Ironically, much like Steve's own life, the road is known for its wild side. It's considered quite dangerous and has been the site of numerous accidents. Still, it stands as a testament to a man who lived life boldly and made every moment count. Steve's influence isn't confined to Birwa or even Australia. His larger-than-life persona has made him a beloved figure in popular culture, especially during costume and Halloween parties. From his khaki uniform to his signature catchphrases, "Crikey" and "Isn't she a beauty?" Steve is an unmistakable choice for anyone wanting to channel his boundless enthusiasm and love for animals. But it wasn't just wildlife that got Steve's adrenaline pumping. He was also a devoted sports fan, particularly of rugby. A passionate supporter of the Brisbane Broncos, He didn't just cheer from the sidelines. On one memorable occasion, Steve showed up at a team training camp and asked to tackle their biggest player, Shane Webbeck. Predictably, the encounter didn't end in Steve's favor. Webbeck flattened him, but true to form, Steve took the hit with a grin, laughing and enjoying every second of the experience. Steve Irwin wasn't just a wildlife expert. He was a global superstar. By 1998, his hit show The Crocodile Hunter had captivated audiences around the world, airing in over 130 countries. Few programs can claim such universal appeal, and even fewer hosts could match Steve's infectious energy and unrelenting passion for nature. His ability to connect with people, whether through a TV screen or in person, made him an ambassador for wildlife conservation in a way that was both entertaining and deeply impactful. As his fame skyrocketed, so did the growth of his beloved Australia Zoo. What started as a modest reptile park founded by his parents transformed into a sprawling 76-acre wildlife haven, thanks in large part to the attention and funding brought in by Steve's show. Today, the zoo is home to hundreds of local and exotic animals, a living testament to Steve's tireless dedication to conservation and education. The zoo isn't just a place, it's a legacy that continues to inspire visitors from around the globe. Steve's passion for wildlife extended into every facet of his life, including his role as a father. His daughter, Bindi Sue Irwin, carries a name rich with meaning. Bindi was the name of one of Steve's favorite crocodiles, and Suey was the name of his cherished Staffordshire Bull Terrier. Combining the names of two of his most beloved animals for his daughter's name was a heartfelt gesture, reflecting the deep connection Steve felt with the creatures he dedicated his life to protecting. But Steve's contributions to wildlife went beyond the screen and the zoo. He made scientific discoveries too. While filming his show, Steve identified a previously unknown species of snapping turtle. The turtle, now named Elsea irwini, or Irwin's turtle, is a fitting tribute to his legacy. But don't let the name fool you. Unlike Steve, these turtles aren't known for being friendly, so it's best to admire them from a distance. In 2001, Steve made a memorable cameo in Dr. Dolittle 2 alongside Eddie Murphy. While he wasn't exactly gunning for an Oscar, Steve's trademark charm and enthusiasm radiated through the screen. Donning his iconic khaki outfit, Steve was every bit himself, passionate, energetic, and impossible not to smile at. His brief but entertaining appearance reminded audiences why the world had fallen in love with him. That same year, Steve received one of Australia's highest honors, the Australian Centenary Medal. Awarded for his incredible contributions to global conservation and Australian tourism, the medal recognized Steve's tireless efforts to protect wildlife while sharing the beauty of his homeland with the world. For someone as devoted to Australia as Steve, this recognition must have been deeply meaningful. Of course, Steve didn't tackle these adventures alone. His best friend, Wes Mannion, was a key part of his journey, both on screen and off. The two worked closely on The Crocodile Hunter, but their bond went far beyond the show. In 2001, their friendship was tested in a harrowing moment when a crocodile attacked Mannion, biting him hard on the thigh. Without hesitation, Steve leaped into action, using a safety stick to subdue the croc and save his friend's life. Mannion escaped with his life, but the experience left an indelible mark. Years later, at Steve's funeral, it's hard to imagine the depth of Mannion's grief, knowing that his best mate had once risked everything for him. In 2002, he starred in his only feature film, The Crocodile Hunter, Collision Course. The movie brought Steve's infectious energy to the big screen, blending humor, action, and his love for wildlife into a family-friendly adventure. The film even earned a Young Artist Award for Best Family Feature Film, Comedy, a testament to how much audiences adored him. For longtime fans, the movie is a must-see, a chance to experience Steve's magic in a whole new way. That same year, he established the Steve Irwin Conservation Foundation, later renamed Wildlife Warriors, with a mission to protect injured, threatened, and endangered wildlife. The foundation wasn't just about saving animals. It was about inspiring people to care deeply about the natural world. Through education and action, Wildlife Warriors became a global force, continuing Steve's legacy of conservation and compassion for all living creatures. When Steve wasn't wrangling crocodiles or filming his next adventure, he had another passion: the water. A certified diver, Steve often explored the underwater world for recreation and conservation. In 2003, his skills were put to the test in a real-life crisis when he and his production crew joined a search and rescue effort for a group of divers who had gone missing in Mexico. This wasn't just an act of bravery, it was Steve living out his commitment to protecting life, no matter the challenge. But Steve's fearless nature sometimes brought controversy. In 2004, he faced a storm of criticism when he fed a crocodile at his zoo while holding his infant son Robert in the other hand. Footage of the event sparked outrage, with some accusing Steve of child endangerment. However, Steve was quick to defend his actions, asserting that Robert was never in any danger. Authorities reviewed the incident and agreed, choosing not to file charges. For Steve, it was just another day of sharing his world with his family, a world where wildlife and education came together in extraordinary ways. That same year, Steve found himself in legal trouble during the filming of a documentary in Antarctica. An Australian court accused him of interfering with the lives of animals like penguins and whales, claiming his actions disrupted their natural behavior. Ultimately, Steve was acquitted, with many believing his interventions were rooted in conservation, not harm. Using the earnings from his show, Steve purchased large tracts of land in Australia, Vanuatu, Fiji, and the United States. His goal was clear: to create safe havens for endangered species and preserve vital ecosystems for future generations. It wasn't about personal gain. It was about ensuring that the wildlife he loved would thrive long after he was gone. This selfless dedication to conservation solidified Steve's place as one of the most impactful environmentalists of his time. Steve's passion for wildlife wasn't just something he shared with the world, it was a legacy he passed on to his children. While his daughter, Bindi Sue, has gained recognition for her work as a conservationist and TV personality, Steve's son, Robert Irwin, is also following closely in his father's footsteps. Now a teenager, Robert has embraced his role as a wildlife advocate with enthusiasm. He shares his love for nature through television, appearances, and wildlife photography, showcasing the beauty of the natural world through his lens. Watching both Bindi and Robert continue Steve's mission is a testament to the enduring impact of their father's life and teachings. In January 2006, less than a year before his tragic passing, Steve made a special appearance during Australia Week celebrations at UCLA's Pauley Pavilion in Los Angeles. It was a time when his fame was at its peak, and the audience was thrilled to see their hero in person. Steve's energy, humor, and passion for his work were on full display, reminding everyone why he had become a global icon. By this point, Steve's Australia Zoo had already become one of the top tourist destinations in the country, attracting visitors from around the world who were eager to experience the magic he had created. At the time of his death in 2006, Steve's net worth was estimated at $10 million, a testament to the success of his work and the widespread appeal of his mission. Steve Irwin's magnetic personality made him a natural in front of the camera, and his charm extended far beyond wildlife documentaries. One of his most memorable appearances was in a hilarious ESPN commercial. In the ad, Steve encounters the University of Florida's big green gator mascot in a studio hallway. True to form, he leaps into action, wrestling the mascot to the ground with his signature enthusiasm. It was a perfect blend of humor and Steve's trademark energy, leaving fans laughing and utterly delighted. But behind his playful public persona was a man deeply committed to his vision for the future. In July 2006, Steve developed a detailed 10-year plan for Australia Zoo, outlining his goals for expanding conservation efforts and protecting endangered species. It was a testament to his foresight and dedication to ensuring that his life's work would continue long after him. Tragically, just 2 months later, the world lost Steve Irwin, but his carefully laid plans have helped keep his legacy alive, guiding the zoo and its conservation mission to this day. September 4th, 2006 began like many other days for Steve, filled with adventure and purpose. He was filming Ocean's Deadliest, a documentary exploring some of the most dangerous creatures of the sea. During a break in production, Steve decided to snorkel and capture additional footage for his daughter, Bindi Sue's TV series. While in the water, he encountered a stingray, an animal typically known for its calm demeanor. But in a tragic and rare event, the stingray struck Steve in the chest, delivering a fatal injury. What makes Steve's passing even more heartbreaking is how extraordinarily rare such an incident was. Stingrays are usually docile creatures, and Steve's death was only the third recorded fatal stingray attack in Australia since 1945. Globally, stingray-related deaths are so uncommon that only 1 or 2 occur annually. It was a cruel twist of fate that a man who had faced down crocodiles, venomous snakes, and sharks would lose his life to such an unlikely source. Steve Irwin's untimely death in 2006 sent shockwaves around the world, but his family and closest colleagues worked tirelessly to preserve his dignity and legacy. The tragic incident caught on camera during the filming of Ocean's Deadliest was handled with the utmost care. Only members of the Queensland State Police Department were allowed to view the footage as part of the investigation. Out of respect for Steve and his family, all copies were destroyed afterward. Despite persistent rumors and alleged leaks online, these claims have been debunked as hoaxes. Cameraman Justin Lyons, the only person present during the fatal encounter, later shared his perspective on the stingray's behavior. Lyons speculated that the stingray mistook Steve's shadow for a tiger shark, one of its natural predators. This tragic misunderstanding led to the defensive strike that claimed Steve's life. When asked about the possibility of the footage being made public, Lyons was unequivocal. Never. Out of respect for his family, I would say never. In the wake of his passing, several stingrays were found on Queensland beaches, with their tails cruelly cut off. Many speculated this was an act of misguided revenge by grieving fans. However, anyone who truly understood Steve's mission knew he would have condemned such acts. Steve dedicated his life to protecting and respecting wildlife, and he would never have wanted harm to come to the animals he loved so deeply. Steve's funeral was held at Australia Zoo, the place that symbolized his life's work. The ceremony was private, attended only by family, close friends, and colleagues. As a final tribute, Steve's gear truck was driven around the arena in a symbolic farewell. The zoo staff arranged yellow flowers spelling out Crikey, his signature catchphrase, creating a heartfelt send-off for a man who had touched so many lives. To this day, Steve's grave remains inaccessible to the public, allowing his family to keep their private moments of grief sacred. To honor Steve's incredible journey, Animal Planet aired a poignant series finale for the Crocodile Hunter titled Steve's Last Adventure. This 3-hour special showcased some of Steve's most unforgettable moments as he traveled the globe, spreading his message of wildlife conservation with his trademark enthusiasm. It was a powerful goodbye that allowed fans to relive the passion and energy that made Steve an icon. Steve's name now graces not just roads, but also the open seas. The M.Y. Steve Irwin, a 194-foot flagship of the Sea Shepherd Conservation Society, was named in his honor. The ship plays a critical role in combating illegal whaling and fishing activities, standing as a testament to Steve's commitment to protecting marine life. But perhaps the most touching tributes come from Steve's own family, who continue to keep his legacy alive. His daughter, Bindi Sue, and his son, Robert, have dedicated their lives to conservation, stepping into roles that honor their father's memory. On September 4th, 2018, the 12th anniversary of Steve's death, Bindi posted a heartfelt tribute on social media. The post featured an image of her as a young girl alongside her father and a crocodile, captioned simply, "Together Forever." It was a poignant reminder of the unbreakable bond she shared with her dad. Steve's widow, Terry, also carries his memory close to her heart. In 2018, she tearfully reflected on her grief, confessing, "You don't ever get over grief. I'm just lonely for Steve." Her words captured the depth of their love and the void left by his passing, showing that even as the world celebrates his life, his absence is still deeply felt by those who knew him best. Steve Irwin's life was a testament to passion, bravery, and unwavering dedication to the natural world. Though his time was cut tragically short, his legacy lives on through the Australia Zoo, his family, and the countless lives he touched. Thank you for joining us as we celebrated the extraordinary story of the Crocodile Hunter. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more incredible stories. Until next time, stay inspired and remember to cherish the wild world around us.